Hi guys, you have reached the last of the videos in the first unit. Yay! This is Unit 1, Section 6, having to do with metrics. You go and do a lot of metrics in chemistry, and so I thought I'd just kind of give you a little introduction into it, so that way we can start getting familiar with it here in biology. Metrics is a unit of measurement that we use in the scientific world. It is also what we use in pretty much the whole entire world except for the United States, which is kind of silly. So we still stick with our units of feet and inches and gallons and pounds. So we're going to take a look here at what the difference is between the way we're used to and the scientific way. So there are four main things that you can measure using metrics: mass, volume, temperature, and distance. Mass in metrics we measure using grams. Mass, you also hear, is also the same as weight. Interchangeably, weight is a measurement of gravity's pull of you here on Earth. Mass stays the same no matter where you go. So say you were on the moon, your weight would be 1/6 less, but your mass would be the same. So we usually just tend to use the word mass instead of weight to kind of take out that factor of Earth's gravity. So mass is measured in grams, whereas here we would measure in pounds or ounces. So we're not going to use those. You'll never see us use pounds or ounces in dealing with anything here, at least for this year, in science. Volume, we use liters, not gallons or ounces. So, which is kind of funny because when you go buy a big old soda at the store, it's a 2-liter bottle, right? But what's a can? A 12-ounce. So it's kind of funny, they're also mixing up the standard versus the metric units with the same thing. So you can buy a 2-liter bottle, or you can buy a 12-ounce can or a 20-ounce can or something like that. It's kind of weird. Temperature, we use Celsius, not Fahrenheit. And distance, we use meters, not miles, feet, or inches. So what we've done is we've eliminated all these other possibilities and just brought it down to one thing. So mass is grams, volume is liters, temperature is Celsius, and distance is meters. Now, let's say I was measuring your mass and you went and stepped on the scale and you were 120.4 ounces. So 120 pounds, I messed that up, 120 pounds and then 4 ounces. Okay, the ounces is a way to take a pound and make it smaller. And say you had 2,000 pounds, not a person, hopefully. How would I make that bigger? I turn it into a ton. And so I can take this measurement and make it bigger or smaller by changing the measurement. So tons, pounds, ounces. Same thing with volume. I could do gallons or, I'm trying to think of what's the other thing that they measure volume in for US. My brain always goes in metric, so I have a hard time. Well, we got ounces. Obviously, we have ounces. So if I put like 2 ounces of water into something, gallons, distance, small, inches, bigger, feet, bigger, yards, bigger, miles. So you're converting one thing into something else. What's nice about the metric system is that this never changes. It's always grams, it's always liters, it's always meters, and so on. You don't change pounds, ounces, gallons, ounces, miles, feet, inches. You don't change. It always stays the same. So we call that thing that stays the same the base unit. Okay, the base unit is the thing that does not change. What does change, if I want to make something bigger or smaller, is the prefix in front of it. Okay, you guys have all seen the word millimeter, right? Okay, there's your base right there, and there's the prefix. So the prefix is telling us, oh, a millimeter is 1/1000th of a meter, because milli means 1,000, like a millennium means 1,000 years. So a millimeter is just 1/1000th of a meter. Okay, same thing with grams. If I had a kilogram, well then that is 1,000 grams. Okay, so I'm not switching it into some new word. I still have gram in there. The only thing that changes is my prefix. So how do I learn all the prefixes? Well, from this silly little thing right here. Kids have dropped over dead converting metrics, just like my little goats here did. They were trying to convert metrics. It was too much. They passed out, and they flipped over and dropped over dead. And so what these letters help you remember are the prefixes. Oh, my pen just died. Hold on. Come back. There we go. So we have kilo, hecta, deca, And then the O stands for the ones place or the base unit. And we have deci, centi, and milli. So each of these can be tagged on to grams, liters, meters. We don't do Celsius. That one just, it is what it is. So you either have 1,000 degrees Celsius or negative 20 degrees Celsius. We don't put any prefixes in front of that one. But all the rest of them, we can put a prefix in front of to modify that unit. So let's take a look at that then. Here is the staircase to help you figure out how to go back and forth from each one. So here's my ones place, my base right here, liters, meters, grams. Okay, and then here's the kids have dropped over dead converting metrics. Don't worry about micro for right now. And then there's numbers underneath. 1,000, 100, 10. This would be 1, and then 10, 100, 1,000. Okay, so what that means is that a kilo means 1,000. So there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. Hecta means 100. So 100 meters is a hectometer. Deca means 10. So 10 meter, that's an M, 10 meters equals 1 decameter. And that's going to be DKM because down here we see a D again. Okay, and then 1 meter equals obviously 1 meter. Okay, now deci is 1/10 of a meter. So 1 decimeter, now we're just DM, not DKM. 1 decimeter is 0.1 meters. Then we have centimeter. Centi means 100. So there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter equals 1 meter. Or you can even say that 1 centimeter is equal to 0.01 meters. That's an M again. I can't seem to do my M's today. Okay, milli means 1,000. So I've got 1,000, I can't type or write either. 1,000 millimeters is equal to 1 meter, or 1 millimeter is equal to 0.001 meter. Because, sorry, my pen keeps randomly turning off on me. Because since there's 1,000 millimeters in a meter, well, that's 1/1000th of a meter, just like centi is 1/100th of a meter. Okay? And so I didn't do something up here. So 10 decimeters would be would be the same as 1 meter. So 1 decimeter is 0.1 of a meter, or 10 decimeters would be 1 meter. So how do I do this? Do I just memorize this? Well, if you memorize the letters and the prefixes, you're fine. But you don't have to memorize how much is in everything. All you have to do is just remember this nifty little trick. So say I have 22 meters, and I want to know how many millimeters that is. If I go down my staircase, so I'm here at meters, and I want to know how many millimeters that is. See how I'm going down my staircase 1, 2, 3 steps? Well, if you go down the staircase, that is how many times you're going to move the decimal to the right. So 22 millimeters, I'm sorry, 22 meters, then you move the decimal 1, 2, 3 is equal to 22,000 millimeters. Okay? I know it's weird, so let's do a few more. 22 meters is how many kilometers? Okay, so you always look at where am I starting. I'm starting with meters, so I'm starting here. Where am I going? Up to kilometers. 1, 2, 3. So now this time I'm going up the stairs. So what do you think I do with my decimal? I move it that many spots to the left. So 22, the decimal's here, so 1, 2, 3. So that becomes 0.022 kilometers. So 22 meters is equal to 0.022 kilometers. Okay, let's try another one, starting somewhere else. Okay, what if I have 532 centimeters, and I want to know how many hectometers that is? So you take a look at, you always start with the number of what you do know. I do know I have this many centimeters. Okay, now how many steps does it take to climb up to hectometers? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I went up the stairs 4 times, so that means to the left 4 times. So 532 goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. Okay, now let's try one going the other way. What if I have 36 decaliters, so DKL, and I want to know how many milliliters that is. So where am I starting? I'm starting here, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4. I went down 4 steps, which means to the right 4 steps. So 36 becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and put some zeros in there. So 360,000 milliliters are contained within 36 decaliters. Okay, and then one more just for real simplicity's sake. I have 100 kilometers. How many meters is that? So try that one out. Look at where you're starting and where you're ending and what direction you're going. Okay, if you need to pause me, pause me. If not, follow along. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going down 3, so that means 3 to the right. So my 100, the decimal's here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So that's 100,000 meters are in 100 kilometers. Pretty simple, huh? Yeah, I like that one. Now again, don't worry about this one here because there's actually 3 steps. I can't draw steps. There's 3 steps between milli and micro, so don't draw that one down, okay? All right, let's see. I think, oh, here we go, some practice for you. Okay, so go ahead and practice using what you just drew, the staircase on the other side, to convert 1 gram to kilograms, 29 milliliters to liters, 36.3 kilometers to millimeters, 0.05 milligrams to centigrams, and 14.5 hectoliters to deciliters. So you're going to do that here right now on your own, and then tomorrow we'll go over and see how you guys did. Okay? I thought you enjoy my shark photos. Sharks wouldn't be so scary if they didn't have pointy teeth, huh? All right, so bring these back to school with you tomorrow. We'll take a look at them and see how you did. I shall talk to you tomorrow.